Get all of it.
Yeah, that was big man. He said he wanted these guys.
You got the football practice this weekend.
I know. He has the glamour spots, but you know. That brings one.
No, I got some.
I didn't get you.
Hey,
There. I ain't bring you.
No. What's up, Tiny?
everything great, DeAndre. How you doing?
Oh man, I want to echo what you just said.
Okay.
Yeah, you ready? Yeah. Here we are.
Back down.
Woo. Mike is not there.
Mike now.
Let's see. You ready?
We got
U H A
H as in house.
H F A 2 U 36 R P W.
There's nothing here. Maybe I missed it. UH, oh, that's 2 A's.
U H A.
Let's try that. Yeah. You feel the heat from the lights?
No.
Oh. Breathe.
All right, let me see. It says, oh, I'm not.
1, 2, 1, 2.
Actually, maybe my mic.
So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yellow.
pop in.
One, two, one, two. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Yo. Okay.
1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2.
All right, y'all, and we are live. Y'all know how we do every Sunday. We welcome you to our West Austin Council between the hours of 6 and 8. You know, just a couple community people from the West Side, talk the West Side issues. Just, you know, we got some stuff to deal with on the West Side. So we're just trying to bring it to you live and direct. There's multiple ways you can interact with our show. We got the Facebook, the YouTube, or the Zoom. It's really up to you, whichever you would like to jump on. But either way, we can see your comments, we can see your messages. And if you tune in, whether it's the Zoom or just the Zoom, if you jump on the Zoom, we can actually bring you into the live show so you can have that back and forth conversation with us.
Right.
Other than that, you know, please just share the stream, let folks know what we're doing. Steve and I was just talking before we cut this thing on, and we just realized that we've been doing this for 3 years now. 3 years, this is the 5th episode, you know, so
As a new year.
so that's super dope. We started this show April 1st, 2021, and 3 years later, August 1st, 2021, and 3 years later, still here, you know. Or at least it's the beginning of the 3rd year, so,
Right.
so it's pretty decent. But beyond that, you know, a whole lot of stuff going on, man. But yeah, come on in, y'all.
So what you say, Tiny?
Yes, sir. How's it going?
We going, like you say. Good to be amongst like-minded people. Right?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you say it again.
I said, like you always say, it's always good to be amongst like-minded people.
Okay. Now I'm out driving, so I really can't hear that well.
Oh, okay. All right. We got you. Be
Say
safe.
again.
I said, like you always say, it's always good to be amongst like-minded people.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we wanted to touch base a little bit about people, just touch. Actually, we had a Zoom call with Westside Rising with them
Right.
last Wednesday, and they helped out, gave a lot of information out there. I had promised to have them on this week, but since we had them on like the middle of the week on the Zoom call, I didn't want to overtax them. But I definitely will reach out and try to have them come next week, give an update. So it will be approximately almost a month they've been doing this almost. And hopefully we can get, you know, more people some help if that's what's needed. But I think what we really need to dive into, oh man, city of Chicago, you know, we really need to start thinking about what are the expectations for the citizens, or of the citizens for the city of Chicago. You know, things have really evolved. I was looking at something over the weekend where someone had a video of a city, you know, Chicago city street from the 80s. And they were showing the kids hanging out on the corner, you know, little kids and older people sitting on crates in the neighborhood and sitting outside the stores. And someone said, wow, this is a very tranquil looking era. And I'm thinking, was it really that tranquil? But I guess they're really looking at what's going on today. And they're saying, you know, just looking at that little snapshot of what Chicago used to look like almost 40 years ago or more, at least 40 years ago, that it was a tranquil place and it looked as if nothing was nefarious or dangerous going on in the community. And, you know, We had gang problems then, you know.
Right.
Were they prevalent as now? Probably more so, if you ask me. We don't really have a lot of gangs now. We just have little, what they call it, cliques and factions.
Yep.
You know, only thing that I can say probably is most different from yesteryear and today is that not everyone has a gun, had a gun. Not all the gangs, not everybody in the gang had a gun. You know, and that leads to let you think or have people think that, you know, that probably was a little bit more control. And that's probably the biggest difference. I was just looking at there was a shooting on Madison in the 3800 block, which is approximately Madison and Pulaski. I think it was at where the old Goldblatt store was, where all the little shops are. I guess the individual almost hit someone with a car. The car swerved, or I don't know if it was an intentional act trying to hit someone, but the car swerved and it looked like it drove into one of the shops and crashed. And then they said the other individual came behind the car and shot the car up with that, you know, actually shot the person that was in the car. You can see the bullet holes across the car. But I'm just thinking, man, how is it that in broad daylight, someone tries to hit someone, crashes, okay. That doesn't make a lot of sense, but it happened. And then that individual comes after the person that obviously crashed in the car and then shoots the car up while they crashed in the structure. And from my understanding, I don't think they caught the person that did the shooting.
They never do.
But that's the problem. Broad daylight. All of this is going on. Madison and Pulaski. Everybody knows that things go on over there. Policemen usually are sitting right there. And, you know, there's ongoing drug sales, you know, right there. I mean, I was literally out there with Mayor Lori Lightfoot on a walk one day. We walked right there where the White Castle is, which is what, Springfield and Madison.
Mm-hmm.
And we walked into the little circle area. And the guy was selling drugs right in front of the mayor and her bodyguards and law enforcement, and he was calling it out. You know, hey, that blows right here. I'm like, what? Mm-hmm. I know the mayor heard it because I'm standing right next to the mayor. So, you know, I just don't get it. I don't understand.
I think it's no respect for the law.
Yeah, but how do we get to this place?
Well, elections have consequences. I mean, you're talking about a system that was probably, especially our incarceral and penal system, in policing in general, was very much so right-wing, as well as it was industrialized the same way that the folks that worked in factories were. Meaning it was very autocratic and top down. Do as I say, because the way that I'm telling you to do it is the best way. And you're talking about that type of ideology still existing to some degree, because you have a lot of folks that are still, if you will, boomers that come from that are still in positions where they're making decisions. And so the thought is, this is the way things need to be. And in politics, the difficulty of politics is that it is not as adaptive as needed to be to actually compete with the world that we're currently living in. And so because you've had so long of an ideology that existed, you're now trying to make up for it with these different laws and legislative practices to try to move it this way back to the left, and you're doing so at the risk of actually not doing it in a common sense way. And I'm saying that because look at some of the stuff that we've replaced. We said we don't want our officers to chase anybody. We don't want our officers to whether it's foot or in cars. We've also made it so that they are under surveillance when they are making stops and arrests and stuff like that. And that's for good. Now that's good. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying that you're moving in this direction so fast that it doesn't compete with the things that's going on today.
Not keeping up.
It's not. But I get it because we stayed in this space for so long that we had to do something. And the something that we're doing is not keeping up. Again, not only are we changing the laws in policing, but we're talking about the incarceral system, which was archaic as well. And now they're trying to keep up against Cook County and make some things what they call equitable. But for you and I, now, yes, some folks that have been locked up for $500 because they had a ticket deserve to be out. And that's good. But some folks that have guns for no reason can get caught, and it's like a turnstile. They go in, they coming right back out. You know what I'm saying?
Just cause of guns.
No, yeah, but I'm just saying, at the end of the day, if you ain't got a valid FOIA card, a CCW, CCL, you shouldn't be walking around with a gun. If you want to be a lawbreaker, like I'm just saying, like, when it comes to the incarceral system, we shouldn't be locking people up for infractions against it. But you gotta do something though, because it's like anything in life when you're dealing with people. If there's no negative reinforcement for the bad things, the negative things you do, you're going to keep doing them, and you're gonna do them to the nth degree until at some point we got no choice but to lock people away. That's what we had to. That's what we at right now.
I think it's back to what you said about technology. The technology is such now that everything is on film. So nobody feels that they have to go and try to catch them in the act. You don't need to catch you in the act because somebody got it on video somewhere. Some countries, I was watching something the other day, one of those shows that, try to catch a murderer, and I think it was in Australia. The police actually pinged the guy. I guess the guy killed his girlfriend and drowned her in the ocean, on the beach. Police literally tracked the girl's phone, every ping it had, and they followed that ping, and then they went to every house that the ping rung on and went off on, and they went to every house and asked everybody with a videotape so that they could see what was similar. And what they did see was similar with the same vehicle, which was the girl's vehicle that the guy killed her and took her in. They started going literally down the street. They took 100 videos, and spliced them together so it looked like one complete movie of when this guy took her, drowned her, came back without her in the car, all the way back to his house. They saw him with wet footprints, wondering why would this guy have wet footprints when it didn't rain and there was no puddle. And they can literally see on the video as he got out of the car, walked to this place. Then he threw himself into a dryer, a washer and dryer, and then that was a closed case on him. But my point to that is, I think everything is based on a lot more on technology now, but I think criminals don't care about technology when they're creating.
Well, if that was the case, then the clearance rate for our communities when it comes to shootings and murders would be much higher. Like, something wrong there, because they ain't adding up. Yeah, we got a shit ton of technology, but our clearance rates are abysmal. You got mothers who still waiting for their child killer to be identified. And then further still, you got those who have been identified who have to wait those same many years or greater in order for something to happen in terms of prosecution. That's a problem. I don't know. We got all the technology, but what we doing with it?
Well, technology is only as good as in the hands of the person that's using it, I guess, right? If you don't know how to use it properly or how to use it for what you need it for, then it's not that effective. But other places are using this technology. And again, I just think criminals in our day in America, they don't care about it. I mean, prime example, what was it, January 6th?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the people that were getting caught were policemen.
Yep.
You know?
Some of them from Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, they have to know these things. You think you're not going to be caught? I mean,
Well,
they should know this. This would be, cut and dry.
well, listen, like we gotta be honest about the American state of affairs now. As a whole, America reads on the sixth grade reading level. And that's probably gonna drop. You know?
You said that's the problem.
I mean, look. Far be it for me to point
Well,
out.
can y'all hear me?
You sound bad.
Y'all can't hear me? I sound bad?
Yeah, you got to get that cat out your throat.
We can hear you, but yeah.
Hold on. Let me see something. What about now? Can you hear me?
Oh yeah.
That's better.
Oh yeah, the cheap Bluetooth. So, well, I'm gonna have to disagree with the whole, we got a lot of technology. We do have a lot of technology, but we don't, because we just lost a family member and he died on the 6400 block of South Albany. There's no technology right there. There's no technology on Albany. There's no technology in the Austin area. You might see a flashing light and a flashing camera, but those cameras don't work. And when you try to get them to work, I had my car broken into at 4 a.m. I got around 4 a.m. I got in the house at 3 a.m. I left out at 6 a.m. to go to work. When I got back, when I went to the police on the 15th district to report that, I say, listen, I parked my car at 4 o'clock, at 3 a.m. I left back out 2 hours later. My car was broken into between that front. They wouldn't even want to look at the footage, and they still haven't found the person who unalived one of our family members. So there is not a lot of technology here. That's why the criminals have no problem doing what they doing, because they know this is a dead end block. Ain't nothing going on over here. You feel me? And again, I'm gonna keep it 100. I used to get busy over there in the Austin area. I used to get busy over there, and nothing never happened. You know why? Because they don't have any cameras. They don't have no cam. I mean, they don't have the technology, or they're not putting the resources in the neighborhood like that. So at the end of the day, that's why these criminals is doing what they doing right now. Power.
Right. Well, I'll give you another example. So I get a call from somebody in the community. They say, Steve, I see the guys they're not breaking into the mailboxes. They're literally going in the mailboxes with keys. Right here on Central and Division. He said, I followed them. I got the license plate. I got the car make and model. I called called the police department, or he went down to 25th District, gave them the information, and they said, ain't nothing they could do about that.
Now,
There we go.
Because don't they got their own
They
officers?
do have the coastal police, but being the police, why would you say there's nothing you can do about that? You should say, I'll take this information and pass it on to the proper authorities. I mean,
I feel that. I receive that. Yeah, I receive that.
for them to say there's nothing they can do about it?
I receive that. Yeah, you know what? I do think, as we were talking about the crime and all that type of stuff, obviously, and a lot of us actually on the line right now has been a part of the Neighborhood Policing Initiative since 2018, where we were able to have our DCOs be our problem solvers, problem solving officers, and work closely with community. I'm a huge advocate for that because I was with Janae Nellum earlier, and she talked about how in the 15th district, her and DCOs was on a block about a week earlier, knocking the doors, just saying, "Hey, I'm your DCO. Here's my card. If you want to report anything, see anything, say anything, you can reach out to me directly here." And she said there was a little person that had gotten shot, on that particular block. A week after they had done that, and those neighbors reached out to them. They gave them footage, they gave them information, they gave them everything they needed so that the detectives can go out and do their work. I'm only saying that because as somebody that obviously works with NYU with this program and been with it since 2018, I'm just like, we need that though. That is what we need to transform policing to. I wouldn't be sitting here saying that I didn't, if I really didn't believe it. I seriously believe that our officers need to be problem solvers and really need to be in the community with the people that's willing to build relationships with them. Because I think we get a lot further than what we currently are. And just her testimony of being an officer and saying that having those relationships helped them to solve that issue a lot faster than it would have been otherwise.
Right. Well, I don't know. When I heard that, when I heard the police department representative, I don't know who it was, said that there's nothing they could do about that. When he gave you a description and a license plate, I'm like, man, they tell everybody else when you see something, say something. But now somebody's saying something, and you're saying there's nothing I can say about that. But, what do we do when we get those kind of responses? And people, I think people are trying to do their best to comply and help, because the first thing that I was told from the individual, it was like, "Steve, we gotta let people know not to put their mail in that mailbox." And I'm saying,
right.
how we gonna do that? Because they got the keys to all the mailboxes.
Right.
We ain't gonna be able to just run around and tell people not to put their mail in all the mailboxes. I mean, maybe that's what we need to do.
Now you just gotta out of Berlin, Cicero or something. Or north.
Where the mayor's mailbox at?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's what we put.
Yeah. We go to the mayor's mailbox. It's gonna be all right.
That's right.
Yeah, you're right.
Put it where the mayor's mailbox is at, and where, that's it. That's probably the safest spot. But I'm just thinking, man, this is a little bit much. A little much when the guys rob the guys at the postman, and then I talked to them to make it so bad. I talked to some officials at the post office. I didn't have the description, I didn't have the license plate, because the person that gave it to the police department, he didn't keep it once he gave it to the police department.
Right.
So they're asking me, like, what do I do? Give me the information. I'm like, I can't give the information because they already gave it to the police. The police more than likely didn't forward it.
Right.
And but I did find out from the postal officials that the mailmen are getting robbed like still every day.
Oh, yeah.
And a comment was made to me because I said, what about that post office over on Madison and Vaquita? They said, oh, they get shot over there. I'm like, what? People shoot the mailman? Come on now.
At some point, we're gonna have to have some messages for these folks, man. I'm talking about a hard line message. We ain't gonna be able to stand for this. Now, Chicago ain't gotta go and be a police state, but at some point, we definitely gotta show like, all right, man, it's enough of this craziness. We ain't John Dillinger ain't running around here no more. You know what I'm saying? This ain't the time of Al Capone, but we just haphazardly, recklessly, doing crimes out in the open. You know what I mean? And I think it's a little exacerbated because again, the 90s were the height of crime, and just in Black communities in general, you know, so the numbers as it show now would show a decline, a consistent decline. But I think with the advent of social media and technology, as you mentioned, you see it, you feel like you're a little bit more closer to it every single day, you know. And the unfortunate is it's less than 10% of the community that's keeping this up though. And I've always, and this, you know, this sounds crazy because, but I still got to throw the question out, like, how is it that less than 10% of the community elude 100% of the work of the police force? You know, I don't be getting it, man. I never get it. With all these different resources and things that's available, how does less than 10% of the community terrorize the other 90 plus?
Complicity.
And
Yeah,
it gives away to the police because the police.
What it is? Oh, go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, the numbers. I'm just saying the numbers are not met. 10% of a million for 3 million people, 300,000.
300,000, yeah.
Okay. And then
Nah, we talk about in our community though, you know.
Okay, so let's just say
Black people make up
100,000.
Black people make
A million.
yeah. Nah, we don't make up a million. We're about 14% of the population in this country.
No. 14%. I thought it was all a million.
No.
So it's close. It's 900,000, a million, 1,000,002, 1,000,001. We not a 500,000. I can guarantee that. Guaranteed. But my point is, we're still talking about a higher number compared to what? 3,000 law enforcement officers? I mean, how many law enforcement officers?
Yeah, but still, that our numbers are far more greater than Los Angeles or California, and well, probably Los Angeles and New York. You know.
But you know why? You know what? I'm gonna tell you what it is. Geography. When you go to New York, everything is based on boroughs.
Yeah.
You got to cross this bridge to get to the next group, to get to Manhattan. Man, they could shut all that down and zero in. LA, same thing. They already know where everybody concentrated. You either in East LA or you either in South Central, kind of, sort of. And they focus in on that. I guess they have it kind of zeroed in. Here, you know, how do they can't even catch people on the expressway with shit.
Yeah.
And people go there because they know they can get away with it. Wait till they get on the expressway. We in, we out. Somebody was gonna say something earlier.
You know, I gotta say this, man. It's hard for the police to really want to do their job when they got to deal with people like us, Black people like us. I mean, for us to be 12 to 13% of the population, and yes, white people do commit more crime because it's more of them, but we are staggeringly more increased in criminality. Like, Black people don't care. You know, it's hard dealing with someone who don't care. It's hard dealing with, like, for instance, when we went in and fought the Afghanistans and the Talibans, they said the hardest thing that's why we didn't win the war in Afghanistan, because you can't fight somebody who will sacrifice their life for the cause. And so when you got a Black dude, and trust me, I've been around some of these guys. Some of these guys are my friends. Some of them are my family. They will commit a crime and not care about it. One, they don't got no money. They broke. Their mindset. They came from single mother homes. They mamas was having sex with any and everybody, all the gang members, and when you raise a kid in these conditions, this kid is not gonna pop up one day and just be like, you know what I'm doing is wrong. He gonna always think what he was doing is the right thing. And if you grow up listening to Lil Durk, Chief Keef, all these rappers, these people will commit crime. There is not enough police officers to curb this situation, and it'll never be enough police officers. What you got to do, we got to start eradicating each other. Now, if they hire me, I get rid of a lot of these niggas. Just get to kill them. That's it. That's the only way. We need a rapture. We need a rapture of the worst of the worst, and then the problem is solved.
No, it ain't gonna happen like that. Well, let me go back to when you talk about Afghanistan. First of all, we already know from several attempts, anytime you're fighting people on their own home front and it's guerrilla warfare, you're not going to win. I don't care if you're the Soviet Union. I don't care if you're the United States. I don't care if you're the French in Vietnam, the U.S. in Vietnam. None of those things ever, those attempts. The Soviet Union in Afghanistan, the U.S. in Afghanistan. So it's just not going to work. But back to your point is, when you're saying eradicate, that's a big word when you're talking about people. Because if we looked at it and we said, okay, who are these people? Now you got to look at, are you looking at how they look? Are you looking at how they act? Are you looking at what they're listening to? I mean, that's a lot going on right there. It's just try to judge, to judge.
Well, I'm looking at any nigga who's standing on a corner of Central and Laramie every day. Get rid of him. And if he got if he got a tank top on every day, get him. Get rid. If you do surveillance and you see this guy here every day, that's the guy you need to get him. And if it's 10 of them, get rid of every last one of them. Get rid of because them same dudes gonna have kids, and they're gonna have more kids, and their kids gonna be just like them. So you gotta nip the root in the bud. You gotta eradicate these guys.
Yeah, but that could go for anybody. That's not just, as you said, black people. I don't particularly believe that's just black people. I mean, I see it in all cultures, all races. They're doing these things. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna create a massive purge. But I think it's gonna work like that. Too many casualties. What we need to do is reach out to people, offer them some alternatives, and see how we can get them to take these alternatives on. I mean, we put money into everything else. Why not just do that? Here's an opportunity for you to be different and better. We're gonna let you work at your own pace, but you gotta do these things. X, Y, and Z. I don't even see why it's hard for people to find a job selling weed. You got dispensaries all over everywhere, but you can't pass the test to put the drug test. Literally, what's the drug test at a weed dispensary? You got weed in your system?
Well, I think a lot of people just don't want they just don't want the structure. A lot of times that's what it is. I mean, you can't expect people that have been raised with no structure to want to go fit within a system that ultimately you have to be a structured person. And that's what work provides. Work makes you.
Yeah.
I got to get up at 7:30 every morning to be there by 8. I got to do whatever this person tells me to do. And sometimes, depending on how that person manages or leads, they're gonna be over my shoulder.
But your body works off the structure. Your body tells you when you need to eat. Your body is constantly following the principles of life, like breathing in air and exhaling. You have to get rid of what you eat. You have to move to stay up,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a structure that you gotta start with.
Yeah, but that's different than working though. I mean, your body, you can do that. But working, like seriously working, is difficult to a lot of people. As work, like I've always maintained. I mean, it's been on my LinkedIn since I started LinkedIn. The hardest thing for anybody to do is to get up and go to work. You can go see that on my LinkedIn right now. I started my LinkedIn when LinkedIn started. Back in, 2008 or something, that's when I started doing that. And It was true then and it's true now.
But you gotta get up at some time.
Yeah, but it's still difficult.
Maybe you can't get up at 7 in the morning.
Man, it is.
But maybe you can get up at when the second should stop. 3 o'clock.
Man, it's difficult. But then we got to bring back in this element, and I think it was Miss Bertha that mentioned last time, which was about the young man that couldn't read. Our people cannot read that well. The educational system has, and parenting to a degree as well, has been sacrificed such that these kids don't know how to read. And that is an embarrassing fact to have, especially if you are an older teenager or even an adult. And what that does is make you more prone to want to go commit crime because you feel like that is what's available to you. Because God forbid you try to go into to fill out an application and don't know what it's saying.
Right.
Or you try to go to a job where you got to comprehend things and you don't know how to do that. You know, a lot of times that's just what it is. There's a lot of things working against us that's preventing us from moving forward the way we need to be.
But I have to say this. I think in this day and time, it's the most easiest time to work because you can you can work from home. You can do almost what you like to do and just do it. You can get up and work any shift. You can, I don't know what else to say.
And it's the most flexible
You gotta
time in
open
America.
your eyes and make your brain work. That's the only thing you have to do now.
This is the most plentiful time to be in America for anybody that want to do something. Ain't nothing stopping you. Nothing. And I'm just saying, and then with social media, I'm talking about YouTube, I'm talking Twitter, I'm talking TikTok, Instagram, you name it. They will pay you to sit and do nothing. Either to cut on the camera and talk to nobody, to post pictures all day, to do little silly dances. Ain't no excuse
But you know,
for anybody not to do
the opposite way it's been, the excuse, it ain't enough money.
No, because you can make enough money. These things, people are making a living, very well, generous living doing this. What it is it's gonna take time. Now, I think sometimes it's in the presentation of how we deliver these things. If these same guys are willing to stand out day after day, years on end, selling the same drugs, they should have that same enthusiasm about cutting the camera on. Because at some point, cutting that camera on is gonna make them more money than selling these drugs. That's just a fact. That's just how that. I mean, and
maybe they just it's not as much fun. Why?
No, I mean, hey, selling drugs is fun. It's absolutely fun.
Okay.
Hey, man, I'm telling you, because it's a thrill when you out there and you doing your hand-to-hand serves and people coming back and forth and that pack running down and you gotta go get you another one and then you go home and you done sold 5-6 packs. You look at that like, I had a good day. You got a handful of money and then the police come and now you get to throw your middle fingers up at the police. You with your boys, y'all smoking, y'all drinking, y'all go get y'all a little pizza puff or something. Man, that's fun.
Brown bag.
You kicking it all day.
But could you do that if you had a hot dog stand? You sell all your hot dogs
Man,
out.
it ain't as fun, man. It ain't as fun.
Make some money.
It ain't as fun,
Police come by, harass you for a hot dog, give them one, and keep it moving. I mean, come on.
It just
Yeah,
ain't
I
as
don't
fun.
know, man. I got to disagree with what this young man saying on this thing, man. I think when you engage in any type of sales, depending on the mindset, like most people who sell drugs consider themselves a hustler. I don't think they do it for fun. I think it's more so because I can control my opportunities. Like if you got a job, there's only so much you could do with having a job. But when you out in the streets and you making, money illegally or whatever, you don't have to like talk to nobody, clock in with nobody, things like that. So I think, I think you can court. That's why a lot of people who come from hustling and drug dealing or whatever actually translates over to business actually very successfully. because one, they already got the hustlers mentality, and two, once you get a taste for sales, like like I've been involved in a bunch of sales, insurance sales, health sales, product sales, the sales that my brother Tom, I used to ride my bicycle to go serve people. I had fun on that bicycle serving people because it wasn't necessarily the money, it was the hustle. Like I love the hustle. I love to actually make, even if I got a product that I'm taking and I don't use and I'm selling to somebody else, I enjoy it. I sell shoes. I sell shoes for that reason. I sell, I got the rental car business for that reason. I just like the hustle. So I don't know if it's necessarily fun, but I think once you get a taste of making your own money, you kind of enjoy it, which is why it translates well when people actually hustle and then go start their own business.
I think you're right about the hustle part, but the only part I have a problem with is when you endangering people's lives, with that hustle, because
Hey, we can't hear you, Tiny, if you're trying to talk. You on mute, Tiny, if you're trying to talk.
Tiny, take yourself off mute.
Okay, yeah, let me say, I agree with DeAndre, because I've been out there doing all kinds of things. And like, it's exciting breaking the law. It's exciting, it's fun. And that's why people do it who don't have to do it. It's fun.
And ain't no substitute for it, huh?
Huh?
I guess, well, I'm not gonna say there's not a substitute. It's just the easiest thing to do.
Well, it's easy, sometimes it's difficult, but breaking the law is fun.
Wow.
But who sells the most drugs?
Right.
The government? No, I mean, even among individuals who sell drugs. The people who sell the most drugs have the most facility for interacting with that company. Yep. Right. The guys who really don't treat his customers good, don't get to know them. They don't high five them. Right. Don't make them feel like they're coming to a good space when they come to get their hit or their bag, or whatever. They're the ones who do it. Sell 2-3 times more drugs. Yeah. Than the other guys who just stop you on the street. Right. Who ain't really commandeering but other than I got it, you want it to come here and get it. Yeah. Yeah, them was the track stars, the ones that ran to the car.
So you
Built the
said,
name for themselves.
so you said it's about the hustle of what you're doing, or you said it's about the relationship of what you're doing?
It's all of
No, no, this is what it's about.
You know why the young man don't want to sell hot dogs on the block? Because that doesn't look cool to the women. See, these guys, they get these hood guys, they get the women by being in the streets, by having that street status. A lot of the decisions that men make is dictated off women as well. So if you could be the guy on the block selling the hot dogs, but the guy on the corner with $20 in his pocket, especially in our community, the women, they see that more as masculine. So they're gonna gravitate to that more. So that's what makes these guys want to sell drugs and want to be on the block and want to be on the corner, because that's what our women choose. They choose the thugs. They choose the gangsters. You feel me? And I can speak for personal experience. My mother loved thugs. She loved them. She loved them gangsters. The tall, dark, black, dark-skinned gangsters that look like Nino Brown by the nose. Yeah. Yeah, she liked that. So, I mean, these guys don't want to be squares because they know our women is not gonna go for no square type guy. They're gonna go to the guy. They want to get it in with the guy on the block who's selling that fentanyl, that cocaine, that heroin. So again, our community, it's over with. Eradicate.
So is it safe to say, if you change the way people think and what they see, that they can change also?
Well, yeah, no question.
I think all women like the bad boys.
Well, I think you're saying more. You're saying people like to be abused. Are we saying people really like to be abused?
I would say, you know what?
They elect people who abuse them. They
Some
elect
of them do.
that they know a lying to. They elect people that they know ain't really doing nothing wrong in terms of what they do that causes their lives to be better or causes their problems to be solved. And they go ahead and do it anyway because of, I don't know what it's because of.
That's what I was gonna touch on. I think more or less, sometimes it's a trauma response. This is what you are used to in the environment that you come from. Because okay. In some respects, you are less likely to see people that have grown up in suburban neighborhoods want the bad guy, so to speak, unless they are fetishizing. Because if we keeping it real, a lot of times women fetishize the guy that's a bad boy. You know what I mean? Until they become usually more sensible and be like, nah, that was just a little phase. I need to go give you somebody that's stable. They got some sense in their head. But most of the time, it's a fetishizing of people from the hood because you believe that this lifestyle that they are living is attractive. And sometimes, and again, we just looking at the lens through which our people look through, we're manipulated by the images that we see, by the videos that are produced, by the movies in some respect that really show us. Like, I'm still wondering how come Hollywood hasn't produced anything that shows us in a more positive light. You know, because we got, for example, where's our movies that can show us the first black billionaire? Right? Where's the movies that show the individuals that invented the light bulb, the individual that invented the light bulb? You know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, I don't know if these stories exist or they're narrative, but we can craft something. You know, these guys can make some moves, but I'm just saying, sometimes you don't see us portrayed in a positive light. And so if that's all you see, that's what you believe is all that you can become.
Are you saying at the base level, in order to become relevant, whoever's trying to get them to be relevant, got to really work hard at it.
I got to. Oh, you got to put some pain in.
You try to convince them. Yeah. I mean, the preacher preaches hard on Sunday.
Yeah.
Trying to convince people that the Lord is going to take care. I mean, he sweats. He does everything to do. I'm going to revive. Where the preacher is preaching hard, trying to convince somebody that they really ought to be in church, that they ought to become one of the followers. But that sounds like we're saying that in its innate state, just the state of being, that man is not good. That somebody got to convince man to be good.
Yes. Yes. And in that respect, it starts at home. Your parents are the ones that teach you your values, your morals, your respect. Anything that makes you an individual, and you carry that throughout life. And each time you steer off the path, your parents are supposed to be the ones. But if we have a lack of parenting at the house, at home, then we have to look towards our mentors, which we have it. I just left with Al Spencer. He's with Becoming a Man. We created that program because young black men needed a role model. They needed guidance and a mentor. And that's okay. And so long as that we have some brothers available that can do that for those boys. But if we don't, then who's gonna help steer them in the right direction?
And I just came from the National Association of Auto Carriers picnic.
Nice.
And they had the biggest picnic I've seen all year or been to. And I guess the leaders of that group had to work hard to get people to come to the picnic, to come and show unity, and to come and enjoy themselves and have a good time.
Why do you think that was so?
Because the whole idea was just to have a good time and eat barbecue and hot dogs and hot sausages.
That's a hard thing to do.
And yeah, but somebody had to work hard
To make it happen.
to get them to do it. Just left to their own. Many of them wouldn't have been there. They'd have been somewhere else. That's an interesting state of being in terms of where man, and when I say man, I do mean person, man and woman. Because even the people selling drugs now, it's not only the fellas on out there selling drugs, young women,
Oh yeah.
are increasingly doing all of the things that traditionally males have been the ones doing.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Negative as well.
Well, I just think if you look at let's take our history in chunks of 50. Last 50 years will put us back about what? 73, right? 50 years before that will put us back about what? 23. 20. And 50 years back to that will put us back in slavery. Pretty much. So from 23 to 73, what was the biggest significance that kept us somewhat as focused on what we need to accomplish as a people? What was it?
I thought Congressman Davis said Reconstruction, right? That's the period of Reconstruction.
No, that was the first 50.
Yeah, you said between 23 and 73.
Right, but that's the second 50. Wait, the first 50 is from 1865 to.
About 73. Okay, I can just.
Right. The Reconstruction was the first 50 right after slavery. Right. And it wasn't even 50 years, was it? It was only what? Less than 10 to 10 to
Well, it really never stopped in the minds of some people.
Right.
I mean, you can get defeated, but you never stop fighting.
Right.
I'm saying, right. And so there were people who were defeated, but they never stopped fighting because they did not accept a certain kind of defeat. Like there are some athletic teams. They didn't win the pennant or the World Series this year, but before the season ended, they started preparing for next year. They were looking at their team. They was recruiting new players. They were assessing their weaknesses and deciding already we need a new quarterback. We need some new ends. Or we need, I have to see a little bit of a game today. The guy ran a touchdown on the first play. It was beautiful. I know Jackson State is in for football today. But at any rate, I'm saying the question that you're debating, discussing, it's a tough one. I'm saying there are no just simple, easy solutions. And it even dovetails into the sermon I was on the radio as I was driving here. And the preacher was saying that his grandmother had died while he was in college. And he had not always been the closest to his grandmother. And he recognized when he got the news that he could have had a closer relationship with his grandmother, but he didn't want to be going to her house because she didn't have all the video games and all the other stuff, all of that kind of stuff. And he was grieving. He said he was grieving. And he was trying to understand, and he was saying to himself, and he was kind of apologizing to himself in terms of saying, I really could have, should have, would have spent more time with my grandmother. And so oftentimes I think we make decisions and then people recalibrate and say, well, I could have done that. Or I could have thought of that.
That's kind of like where I'm going with this. Because the only reason I'm saying is I was telling DeAndre, I was looking at a clip that somebody had put out on Facebook, and it showed City of Chicago, and it said City of Chicago in 1980, in the 80s. They show kids playing on the corner, by the corner store. They show older people sitting out the freight in the neighborhood. They show people, doing various things in the community. And then it made me, and then someone said, wow, things seemed like they were so much calmer back then, less violence. I'm like, the 80s was still gang banging time going on and things like that.
Well, the 80s is when they introduced the drugs. Oh, a lot of that.
Yeah, but people misunderstand because they didn't live it or see it. And I just brought this up. If we took things in chunks of 50 years back to 73, 50 years back, 73 to 23, and 23 back to slavery.
But we've had these drugs in different times. I'm saying there was a time when I was very slim and all these things, the heroin addiction era,
Right.
The era when all the great entertainers, or not all, but certainly many of the great entertainers that we heard about, knew about, Billie Holiday,
Right.
all of these people, they were hooked on drugs,
Jazz,
heroin, jazz players. The idea that people would go in the bar and just kind of be listening to the music and grooving with their head on the counter, and so the gangsters and drugs, we've been into that a long time, just even with Al Capone and
Right.
And none of it has been seemingly, in terms of addiction, in terms of crime, in terms of the numbers of people who get hooked, and then whose lifestyle becomes one of problems for all the rest of society. But we've made it through all of those areas. And I guess the big question is, how do we make it through today? I'm saying overdoses, addictions, people dying,
Right.
and the things they do when they're in that drug state, and they didn't know they was doing it, or didn't realize, and then just the hatred that seemingly is being developed or is evolving, where people just be mad with the world and go out and take advantage on those days of maddest sweat.
Right.
A lady came to see me yesterday, her grandson, and his buddy had been shot on Pullman. Both of them killed, and one of the guys had a business. And of course, they was trying to figure out, some churches are beginning to take this, and it ain't new. It's not like they just take it. Because there are individuals within the gang-related, drug-related warfare that people threaten to break up the funeral. All that kind of thing. I've been to funerals where people break up the funeral. And so some churches now say, well, you know, if the people who are into that, no, we just would rather not have the funeral at our church. And so it's pretty bad. It's pretty rough. It's pretty tough.
Yeah.
And it's not just in Chicago. It's in all of the places where there are these large, low-income African American, Black majority communities in many places throughout America and in other countries as well. Jamaica and Colombia and other places throughout the world, and in Haiti, throughout the world.
So it's the density of poverty, which was the problem. And I'm sure, like, for example, I don't know exactly where it is, but Maryland has one of the best areas for Black people that are successful. And then there's a bunch of those as well, you know, and obviously before Black Chicago started to fail, if you will, we had several pockets of those, you know. So the issue is increasingly the density of poverty. And I think we're gonna, so now it's gonna
can you reiterate what the congressman said? I couldn't really hear him that well. Could you reiterate like what he was saying about the funerals and stuff?
Just that pastors are now starting to turn away folks that would like funerals at their church homes because of the gang violence, and they're increasingly becoming interrupted.
And it's dangerous.
And of course, it could hurt large numbers of people in a mass crowd where somebody comes in to disturb and break up a funeral procession, and they are carrying weapons, and some of the persons whose friends may have been killed are also carrying weapons. And yeah, it could be a dangerous situation.
Well,
I agree with the pastor doing that. Because I mean, and another thing is, you know, when white people have a funeral, they don't do as much shenanigans as us Black folks. We like to go get t-shirts. We like to party afterwards. We really clowns. We really clowns up at these funerals. We actually,
but technically we shouldn't. Death in its more natural state, it should not be looked at as a negative thing. And I'm only meaning if somebody gets to live their life, that's supposed to be a homegoing, like a celebration. So the unfortunate is when we talking about people get killed as it relates to being an innocent bystander or involved in crimes or whatever the case may be, you know, gangs and all of that, then I do get the sentiment on that. But somebody's homegoing should be a celebration though, because especially when they live a long, complete life. If you live to be 80 plus, I mean, you deserve a homegoing. Shouldn't even be no tears. That person will live, you know, a full life.
But these big reverences are more for the individuals who are much younger. And I think in many instances, it's a way of saying that we love you, Junebug, in some way. We either love you as an individual, or they're saying we love your way of life. We love the way you live. We love what you did. And we have a tremendous amount of respect for you, even though this, whatever you did, is what you did.
Right.
I think it's a conveyance kind of that we care about you, and therefore we have these images of you that we are expressing with a t-shirt, with a cap, or whatever we got your name on.
So let me go back again to the 50-50-50. 50 years after slavery, 50 years after that, which put us almost in 70, and 50 years to today. Do you actually think there's a dramatic difference in our culture and our way of being as a people? And if there is, what has caused it to be that big difference?
In these areas, I think it's the unavailability of jobs that unskilled, I would say that, and uneducated people can qualify for. And
Yeah, good point. That's a very good point.
Say it one more time. Everybody can hear.
it's the unavailability of jobs that lowly skilled, lowly formally educated individuals can qualify for. There used to be, in many of these areas, all kinds of factory assembly lines that you could go and get a job, and you could stand there and put some in a container. When the belt came by, you could take something off and put it in a box. And it didn't require a tremendous amount of skill to be able to do that. Or you could put it in the box even if you couldn't read what it said on the box. Because what was going in the box, you knew that's what was going in the box.
So production work,
Yeah.
which was part of the Industrial Revolution period.
Yeah.
So we come from agriculture, previous 50 years doing slavery, from slavery to let's just say almost
The Industrial Revolution.
the 20s to 30s.
And now the technology revolution.
Right.
I'm saying, which requires a different level of education and training.
Okay.
It just requires it.
Now-
You just can't.
You just said it all, Constance. I broke everything down in 50-year chunks, so it can be a lot more palatable, a lot more understanding. 50 years from slavery to the 20s or 30s, from the 30s all the way to the 70s, from the 70s to now, 50, 50, 50. Why is it that we have less education, less skills than what we had when we were slaves 150 years ago, when we weren't even allowed to read?
Because since it was outlawed, it meant that it was something that had to be had. Had to be had back then. It's like, damn, they outlawed it for what? I want to get a part of that.
Even if you want to get beat for doing it?
Well, the real reason is they recognize
No, you know what I think? The
you
black
would
man.
Hold on 1 second.
you would never ever be able and willing to accept slavery as your permanent state of being.
Now, that's fact. That's fact. Yeah.
As if you train a fella or you educate a slave, they will never,
Yeah.
no matter what you do to them, be willing to accept slavery
Yeah.
as their permanent state of being.
Okay.
I received that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why do we deal with this mental slavery today as our permanent state of being? Now I'm gonna let Mosaic say something. You want to say something, Mosaic?
Yeah, no, what I was gonna say is the black man did better when the white man had his foot on our neck. You could look at it through history. When we got ultimate freedom, that's when black people really stop producing and really stop being good. Not until you are suffering and you are under the oppression of the white man, that's when black people did the most work and was the most prominent through Jim Crow, through slavery, through all of these things, all of the red line, all of these things. But when we got so much freedom now, that's why black people, we too free. So something needs to happen.
So let me say,
I ain't free. You know, it ain't better. It's always been hard on the black man.
but let me say this to you regarding the freedom, Mosaic. I knew people that were from former Soviet Union, and when the Soviet Union collapsed, you know what many of those people that were actually had more openness? They said too much freedom and too much openness too fast is not good for people, because they said the Soviet Union transformed into a mafia state after that, and they saw that because it came so, everything came open so fast and so quick, people just grabbed and took what they wanted, and they gangstered in many cases.
I hear that, but I'm not sure how this ends.
No, they literally, I mean, they were here at that time, so they weren't over there, but they did have relatives that were still amongst that. Like, for instance, the Ukraine. There were so many mafia leaders and gangsters in the Ukraine once the Soviet Union collapsed and pulled back from all those Eastern Bloc countries. Everybody just took what they wanted. The weapons were there. They left all the weapons. The Soviets left the weapons, so they just took them.
Well, I think democracy and what we call democracy, and everybody for years, I have been entertaining African elected officials who come to this country on tours and on purposes for studying our processes of making decisions. I've conducted workshops for them.
Mm-hmm.
And, part of what we talk about is making democracy work. And we have a problem with that in our own community, because there are always people willing to try and link other people into believing that certain forms of rule are better for them. That there are Black people who in Chicago who love to follow what non-Black people suggest to them they should be doing. And so they connect. That's where we got this whole notion of plantation politics from. Individuals who were supposed to be in charge, but were not. And overlords and straw bosses. And we still have people who cater to overlords and straw bosses. And that's not full democracy, because they still believe that non-black ice is colder than black ice. Or they're going to get further. Or when they get a lawyer, it's better for them to get a lawyer who is non-black, because that person has a better chance of getting a verdict in their best interest than the black lawyer. So there are still lots of people who practice the no chains on my hands, no chains on my feet, can't you see? But the chains on my mind are keeping me from being free. Well, a lot of that still exists. Seriously exists. And that guides, in many instances, the way that people make certain kind of decisions.
That's one of the reasons why, you know, as a person who's working on my PhD in psychology, I really want to start to work towards this, what I call flourishing. I would really love for our people to understand themselves a little bit better through science, you know, and throughout the process of, you know, assessments and things like that, so you can understand a little bit more about your personality and some of these other factors that make you unique, and then accentuate those and figure out how to best be the you that you can be. Because I think that's part of the problem too. You know, society has beat us down as Black people to tell us that we can only be certain things. And the access sometimes isn't there, you know. But if you could figure out how to accentuate what makes you unique, then you can find purpose. And a lot of times we wander throughout life without purpose, so we're doing things that isn't becoming of who we were destined to be, because we just don't know, you know. And again, we don't have access to the resources like that, you know.
Well, I think we may not have access to resources like that, but if you stay focused, if you stay on track, you will gain access. And I guess, again, the point I'm making is 50 years after slavery, 100 years after that, the next 50 which put us around about 70-something, 75, and then 50 years after that, you know, which puts us about a little bit now, about now, or a little more. What does the next 50 years, 200 years after slavery, what does it look like for the Black person? Let's just say in Chicago, only. What does it look like? What does our future look like at the 200-year mark?
Man, I told you when we did the census, Black people only had until 2030 to get it together. You know, that brings me to the point of, you know, we got a lot of work to do with trying to really build who we are as a community, man. Like, you know, throughout this house buying process, to know that, you know, you steadily got people selling their homes, and they keep going and getting realtors that's non-Black. The people that's coming into our communities are non-Black, and then we're complaining about it happening, but it's our friends and relatives, and I mean that are constantly doing this, and ain't nobody saying anything about preservation. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, going back to this idea that we're lowly educated and lowly skilled.
Maybe we're
doing this to ourselves.
Maybe we think we've overcome. Remember, there used to be the chant, we shall
Hey man,
overcome.
look, well,
Maybe we think we overcame and ain't nothing else to do.
Like I said, I think the congressman spoke to it best when he came on before. He said, you know, just because they let you in the house, and it mean they put you at the penthouse, you still in the basement.
Right.
Shit, I mean, you could be cool there, or, you know, and that's what, if that's your ceiling, then that's where your ceiling gonna be. But I mean, that as a collective, you know, it's difficult for me to see the position that we are in and be accepting of it. But as an individual, I'm also understanding that I have a family now, and I can't bear the burden of a whole race if we all want to wear our blinders.
We ain't in the race together.
That's a fact. If we gonna wear our blinders and say, well, I mean, I can't, I shouldn't, I couldn't, I won't, I don't. Meh. That ain't for me. That ain't for me to, you know.
Well, the biggest one, you said that. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Yeah, man.
That's the biggest one.
I mean, and again, we advancing now. You know, we're in a technological age where technology is superseding us and is going to continue doing that at a faster rate than human evolution can even comprehend. And so, you know, if you don't have that skill set, you're never going to get that. And the truth of the matter is, our people don't have it because we weren't prepared for it. And now it's here. I mean, we got a quantum computer that's in the 37th ward right now. We have a quantum computer that exists in the 37th ward for the first time in Chicago. It's right there. I mean, nobody from the hood can be working there.
Well, I think we have made, you know, leaps and bounds when it comes to being in spaces in the world. I just thought the other day, the highest ranking person, I guess CEO for Walgreens, which was a black woman, stepped down, which, you know, I didn't know. Yep, she was the highest ranking out, and that's a family-run company. Yep. You know, and then we can't say, you know, black people haven't been in outer space. We've had a number of black people in outer space, male, female, and many. You know, politics, the obvious. You know, we have black elected officials, but
there's no collectiveness around them. You know, everything for black people, going back to Mosaic. When we were our most successful, we had a heavily structured and we were a collective unit. And what that meant was, and we had to do that because there was no help coming. You know, there was nobody that was going to be able to,
right.
You know.
So let's hold it right there. So you say the nuclear family as it was no longer exists as of hell no. The last, what, 30 years? 20 years?
Probably 20,
25, let's say.
Man, listen, see, you ain't in this age, man. These women are different. Nuclear family, man, it's so difficult to have just a conversation nowadays, man. And it ain't just, man, man, we could bring a gang of men that's trying to find somebody to wife that's gonna say the same thing, man. It's different, man. It's different. Yeah, we could probably go get your son right now and bring him in and, man, what you think about women in this? Man, what this, man? Come on, man. Different. Nuclear family don't exist.
Well, I know my boys told me a long time ago, they said, Dad, we ain't been married. And I was like, wow, why'd you make that decision so soon? And they were teenagers, you know? I was like, wow. You after seeing me and your mom together for so long, that was just a picture hanging on the wall.
Y'all outliers. That's because y'all outliers.
That's just a picture on the wall to them. That wasn't a picture on the movie.
Different, man.
Screen.
Oh, it's different. Ain't no, yeah. Nuclear family, no.
Well, that's probably one of the biggest, you know, problems or the reason for the decline.
For sure.
But for sure, can we get that back on track? I mean, even during slavery, we were allowed to get married.
Nah, it's not. I mean, because in some respect, and so, young man mentioned this today at the event I was at. He was asking about how come there isn't as many resources for Black men as there are for Black women. You know what I'm saying? He's not trying to look at it and say that, take away from Black women at all, but he's just saying the truth of the matter is you have much more available for them than, and to that point, you're talking about there is potentially more for Black women than there are for their counterparts. So that makes it such an unequal balance in terms of your relationship. So we already are having to deal with this idea of a relationship. But now you're talking about one in which a man doesn't even feel like a man anymore because his women is far outpacing him. In some respects, being a man meant being able to bring home the bacon, and go out for many hours and work. So you're talking about more of a traditional sense.
Right.
We're not in traditional anymore. The women are more educated. They are more ambitious. I mean, they have more opportunity in front of them, and that's just that's just what it is. But black men, and they're few when they are educated, and they can be in positions of authority and be there, but there's few and far between. There's not as many as there are with Black women now, and it's becoming a little bit more difficult.
So anybody got anything to say about that?
Yeah, I my wife, they've always made more money than me, but we don't be together for money. We put everything together in the pot, and I decide what happened with that pot. Men just give up, being men, and because the white man do not treat the Black woman and the Black man the same. They've always treated her better.
Yeah, but you know what? We shouldn't be trying to get treated better by the white man. Like that's, what I'm saying?
That's right. We shouldn't. We can't.
But we shouldn't be trying to get treated better. I could care less how a white man treat me. You feel me? Like the Black woman treat the Black man worse than the white man, because how many Black women putting men on child support? You're going to tell the white man on the Black man and putting him on child support, putting the government in the business. And then they say, oh man, the white man kicked the Black man out the house. Hey, them Black women did. No, they didn't. Them Black women chose. You have a choice.
No.
Wait, hold on.
Monahan. Monahan. No.
No. Hold on. Wait a minute. That woman had a choice. You can't say that woman. Yes, she did.
Let me tell you this. My grandmother.
I don't for Black people.
My grandmother.
I don't do all that.
Let me say this. My grandmother, when my cousin's mother died, my cousin went to live with my grandmother. And my grandfather couldn't come over to the house during the week because they did not want a Black man in the house. He could only come over on the weekend. They broke up the Black family. They took the man out of the family because they know you got to have that stability that a father brings to the home. The women didn't do that.
No, that's false. They didn't keep that man out that house. That woman sat up there and she accepted them government treats. And so the government became her daddy. The government became her husband. And that's what happened. That woman didn't have to accept that from the government. The Black woman chose the white man over the Black man. Nowhere on God's green earth do you see Mexican. Hold on. You don't see Mexican women. You don't see white women, Indian women disrespecting their men. You don't see white women twerking on police
again,
cars.
how old are you?
You don't see that. I'm 37. I'm an 80s baby. I've been here a long time, brother.
Why don't they bring the welfare law that is being debated and discussed? Read it so we can clear up what the law said about the argument. We still have that argument going on in terms of if a family was to receive welfare benefits, whether or not a man could be a resident of the home. We can research that
Right.
a little bit.
And we're talking current
Next week.
current welfare law and previous.
No, we're talking when the welfare law was passed that causes the controversy around whether or not a man could be in the house if TANF benefit, if welfare benefit was being received by the parent.
Right.
So that argument has been going on
Yeah. I'm gonna give you a movie to check out, Jose.
quite a while.
I'm gonna give you a movie, and you also, DeAndre, because you brought this up. Check out this movie called Claudine.
That's right. That's it, Steve.
Hold on, wait, hold
Claudine.
on. Okay, cool. I'll, you know what? I'm on my way home. I'll do my research. Lyndon B. Johnson has signed that, and he signed that law. He signed that that welfare situation into law, and all of the Democrats, which black people vote for to right now, which black people majority of black people vote Democrat. The Democrats applauded Lyndon B. Johnson for this. But again, that black woman did not have to accept that. If you know that you kicking your man out the house by taking this, by taking these government subsidies, that's your fault. That is your fault. You chose that. That's a choice. That is a choice. You chose
my
that.
grandmother.
These black women destroy the nuclear family, and don't nobody want to admit that because everybody's scared to say something to black women for some reason. I'm the only one who come on here and call these women. I'm not saying black men don't do things bad too. We do too. But I'm the only one that come on here and hold these women accountable. My brother DeAndre Rudis always say, women, what you say about the accountability or no count? What you be saying, bro?
Say they got all the ability except accountability.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
how old are you, young man?
I was born in 1986. I'm 37.
Well, that explains it then. That explains it then.
Let me ask
But that's
you
not a
this.
good argument. That's not a valid argument.
It's not an argument.
Did
It's
that
not an
woman
argument.
choose?
You're
Tiny,
young.
did that
You're
woman,
young. You
Tiny,
don't know what was happening.
Tiny, did that woman choose to take the government subsidies? Yes or no? Yes
What
or
could
no?
my grandmother do? Her daughter had died,
Tiny,
and
I'm
her
asking you
daughter
a
had
question.
2 kids.
This
What could
see,
she do?
Tiny, I'm asking you a question. Did that black woman accept those government subsidies knowing that her man couldn't be in the house? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, that's her
What
fault.
else could she
That's
do?
her fault. Just like if I go out right now and I pull the trigger on somebody and I get caught, regardless if my mom grew up in poverty in the projects and the Greens, regardless if I was raped as a kid, regardless of anything that happened to me, I am accountable because I pulled the trigger. So that your grandmother, she's accountable. She accepted that white man money over her black man. Point blank, period. She destroyed this country.
Time. You're forgetting the time. Tiny is not, he's 3 times your age, 2 times your age. It's not that. So you have to understand, when I was talking about 50 years, 50 years, 50 years, and the next 50 years, you know, these are things we can look at in chunks and try to figure it out. But it was a different time, Jose. I'm gonna tell you, it was a different time. And my point to that is, when you keep talking about the black woman, who take care of the black kids now? That's what I want to know.
The government, they white daddy. The government, they white daddy. That's who take care of them. The
Really?
government. Yeah, the government. They white daddy take care of them. Again, you okay. Who in your family, Steve? Who in your family took government assistance over their black man?
I know a bunch of people that did, but it wasn't over their black man.
Oh, yes, it was. if the black man had to leave in order for you to accept this, again, this is why white people don't respect black people. This is why, because you don't take accountability. We not taking accountability. That woman wouldn't have starved. She wouldn't. Yeah, they wouldn't have starved and went and died if she wouldn't have. It's a lot of people who didn't accept those subsidies. Like, what? My man got to get out the house. Oh no, I'm not doing that. I'm not.
Let me ask you this: did you know for a fact the biggest recipients of welfare were white people?
Yes, because there are more white people than black people.
So what happened to the white woman? She didn't let her man come in.
And this is what black people do. When black people can't answer questions, what about the white people? Look what they done did. They done got them some stuff too. No, This is a white man's country. This is a white man's country. George Washington started this. They signed the Declaration of Independence. They did the Constitution. They get to the receipt. They get to do that. They get to do that, Steve. They get to do that.
Mosaic, I'd like to hear more points of view. I hear you loud and clear. You've made yourself abundantly clear.
Now see, Barry, why you do me like this, Barry?
Because I didn't come on just to hear you. I am very interested in your point of view, but I'd like to hear other people as well.
You don't like the truth. That's why, Barry.
Do you think the white woman let the white man not come around either?
It don't seem like it today. I doubt that. I doubt that. Show me some statistics. I'm a numbers person, Steve. If you can show me the numbers, I will concede. But like Trump, I'm not conceding.
Statistically, white people were the biggest recipients of welfare than anybody. We know
because it's more of them. White people commit more crime than black people because it's more of them.
But the thing is, I'm just saying, more of equal to. Why aren't you really focusing in on this is a factor or a function for all Americans that happens?
Because self-accountability starts with the self. And if we're talking about black issues right now and black people, we're not talking about white people. Because I guess what? If I ask Barry, how many of your white family members accepted government subsidies? How many, Barry? How many of your white people and your white women in your family accepted government subsidies? That's the question we should be asking. I have nothing against white people. I love white people. You feel me?
I hear you loud and clear, but I'm not interested in getting
exactly because
you're not
none of your white women accepted none of that.
You're not hearing. I didn't finish my thought. So what I'm saying is I want to solve these problems. I'm really hoping that Mosaic's going to win his argument or lose it. I don't really care. I want to solve these problems.
You can't solve the problems. You're not in government. You're not a politician. You can't solve. There's only two politicians that can solve problems.
No, it's not. It's all of us, Mosaic.
No, It's only two politicians on here that can really make a change. We just talking. Barry,
you're
brother,
just
please.
talking. You're just talking and talking and talking.
How many white women in your family accepted government assistance?
Okay.
Barry, answer the question.
No, I'm not going to.
Because none of them did. Because white women are loyal to their men. Black women, they need to be slapped upside their head. I'm gonna go on mute.
Okay, let me say this. This is one thing that I know you're not right about. When you just said it's up to the government to solve our problems. And I don't know if you really realize that you said that. I'm like, how do you figure the government is up to them to solve all our problems? The government didn't solve racism. The government didn't solve what is it when you don't have a mental capacity?
Mental health issues.
Not mental health, but intelligence.
Steve, I think we've interpreted there is no separate entity from us and government. That's what democracy really means. Yeah. It means that we, all of us, we the people, are the government. We the people of the government. We elect people to be our representatives and go and sit where decisions get made.
Yeah.
We are the government, and you can't separate us from the government because at the end of the day, we are responsible for everything that goes on in our country.
At the end of the day,
Some people have more ability to be responsible for it. Some people have less. Some people are responsible in one way and others another way. But at the end of the day, we, all of us, are responsible for what goes on.
we the people.
Amen.
Okay, listen, I understand all of that, but at the same time, self-account, we have to hold ourselves accountability. If I pull a trigger on somebody, I'm accountable for that. I did that regardless of my upbringing. And so facts is the fact. And I know what I'm saying.
Something to you for having done that.
Right. No, I hear what Monk's saying. I mean, there is, and I'm a person who actually preach this idea of having self-accountability and personal responsibility. And I think though, and that's one of those things that, you know, derives from good parenting, you know, because it teaches you the understanding of consequences of your actions and a direct consequence that comes from whatever your action is. So I know if I'm doing continuous good deeds, I'm putting in continuous good work, I'm going to get the benefits of that. But if I'm on the opposite spectrum, continuously doing negative things, then I'm going to get the consequence of that. And so what he's saying is there has to be a better understanding of the situation we were placed there. But I also recognize that he's sounding a lot Kanye-ish right now when Kanye says slavery was a choice.
I'm not talking about slavery though. But again, that woman didn't have to accept the government's money. She didn't.
Right.
She didn't. Do you think she would have died? Do you think if
you were saying exactly what Kanye was saying? Kanye was saying
no, I'm not. That's different, bro. That's different when you got a gun to your head.
You were saying the woman should not have chosen to take government income
over her man. Over her man.
Right. And summarily, which Kanye was saying is that people shouldn't have chosen servitude over whether it was gathering together to overthrow or death. He's saying it was a choice.
That wasn't a choice though, brother. Brother, that wasn't a choice. There's been slavery. There's been slavery. No, that wasn't a choice.
You could have ran and got killed.
Right, and a lot of people did, and a lot of people did, but I don't think they chose slavery.
Apparently, a lot of women turned down the government's money to keep their man.
But this is what I want you and DeAndre to do. Go on Netflix, whatever it is, look up the movie Claudine, and you will see why many of the black women took their money. It wasn't just because they put their man out. Some of them lost their husbands. Some of them passed. Some of them, whatever. They went to war and they didn't come back. But you have to see the movie Claudine. It's a very good movie, black movie. And when you see it, you're gonna put it all together because I lived in that area of Claudine. And I understood it. I mean, everybody's circumstances ain't always the circumstances that you see and understand until you see it and you truly understand it. That's just the reality.
Well, there were people who had certain levels of pride. I remember very vividly when people were giving out government parity when I was a kid. And I remember my mother saying to my father, HD, why don't you go down there and get us some of that government cheese and butter? giving away. And my father said to her, who, me? And she said, yeah. He said, well, I tell you what, I am not going, and I'm not going to stand in no line to get some food. Before I would do that, I would rather drink muddy water and sleep in a hollow log. And he did not go because we had plenty of food. We didn't have any money, but we were farmers. So we grew food.
Right.
But it sounded like store-bought stuff just to us. And that a piece of bologna was different than a piece of fried chicken. Right. We could have all the bologna of fried chicken. We wanted, because all you had to do is go out, get the chicken, wring his neck off. Right. I had a project, one of my first 4-H Club projects was to raise 100 Rhode Island red chickens. We sent for them from Sears Roebuck. They came to the post office. Right. We went and got them.
Wait, you was able to buy live chickens from Sears?
There was 100 Rhode Island red. They wasn't just any.
You could take still shipping them through the post office.
They were Rhode Island red. And that was the 4-H Club project I chose that year. And I raised all of them to adulthood, but I broke one's neck. And I thought I would save him. I got some coal oil and a splint, a little piece of wood, and a string, and tied it to his neck, and the chicken lived and walked but at the end of the year, I had 100 chickens.
Right.
And I felt real good about it. And my mama said, you ought to be a doctor. You saved that chicken's life. And we didn't, I wouldn't love to kill that chicken. Every time they get ready, kill that chicken.
You say, hold on.
Don't.
You almost there.
That's my chicken. Don't kill that chicken. But yeah, it's a strange thing. A lot of things happen, but.
No, DeAndre asked
But it's a good debate. No, I think the debate, it's really a good debate. And it's not just a simple conversation that we are having. This debate has existed in Black life for a long time. It's existed in policy making and what welfare has done and how welfare has impacted the lives of African Americans in this country for a long time. See, the very first government agency that was kind of called a welfare agency was the Freedmen's Bureau. That was established during the Reconstruction period. Soon as slavery was over. Something was established called the Freedmen's Bureau to help the newly freed slaves adjust to life, not being slaves. We need a Freedmen's Bureau now. We still need a Freedmen's Bureau. It has not done all the work that it needed to do.
Well, I mean,
What you was gonna say about the questions that I posed?
the question that DeAndre posed is that the Sears actually sell chicken. The crazy part is that you don't really realize the post office probably was still shipping livestock. If not to this date, I know for sure in the 90s they were doing it. Because I worked in the post office in the mid-80s, and they were shipping the little baby chicks in crates, in little cartons.
why we got all these chickens running around the neighborhood now?
No, I doubt it.
Chicken ain't nothing but a bird.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna give me a chicken.
Trying to take a little air, locked up the barnyard for breathing and air. And when the boss shouted through there, this is what he heard. Ain't nobody here but us chicken trying to sleep. Lloyd George used to say that. So,
Oh man. Nah, man. But what you say, Monk? What you on? Sleep?
No, I'm in the game. I'm in the game. Again, like Congressman said, they was able to get chickens. They was able to, raise chickens and, do some. I guess you literally can call that farming. You know what I'm saying? If you get a chicken, and a lot of Hispanics, I do a lot of deliveries in Hispanic areas, and they got chickens in the back. They probably, I doubt them people going to go buy eggs. They ain't wasting their money on eggs. They making their own eggs. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, again, we got to be accountable for the things we do. We can be better. We can get better. Well, I don't think we really can. I think we as a black community, we far too gone. We can't.
We can't.
No, we can't, Steve. Sometimes you got to look at it. Okay, listen. There is a such thing, Steve, as a point of no return. There is with everything in life, there is a point of no return. And right now, we are never going to go back to black unity, black people being together, unless we are under the oppression of the white man again. Now, he put some laws in, some segregation in, where it forced black people to work together. That's when we'll come back. But it's too much integration and not enough segregation. Because if we were segregated, black people will work together. But
so let me ask you this, Monk. If I'm all in favor in seeing the betterment and the uplifting of black people, are you with me or are you against me?
I'm with you, but I know a lot of my brothers, not my brother's brothers, but my black brethren, they not with you. For them, they not with you. They want to sell crack. They want to sell fentanyl. They want to wear Gucci and Louis. They don't want to do. They don't care about that. Go ahead.
With the group that we got, I mean, even Nat Turner has a start with what he had, right?
Yeah, no. Matter of fact, yeah, Nat Turner. They put us on the back burner. Nat Turner, yeah, but again, he come from a different time. This time, in this day and age, you ain't gonna get through a kid who watching TikTok. You know what I'm saying? He watching TikTok. He watching people do stupid challenges. Like it's over with.
He got back there.
Yeah,
What you say, Congressman?
He turned out back there.
Somebody turn state on them. Yeah. But that's all I'm saying is don't give up. I mean, especially if you got kids. If you call them like you're giving up on your kids.
No, I ain't giving up on mine. But you know what? I promise you, Steve, when she gets 16 to 18 and she don't listen, I'm gonna wipe my hands with her. I gotta feed you to the wolves, baby.
You can't do that.
And I'm gonna take her out the wheel too.
You can't do that. They steal your kids.
Listen, if she go against me when she turn 18, I gotta wipe my hands with her.
You gonna let her go to the wolves?
Just keep living. Keep living.
I'm gonna keep living. Oh, I'm definitely. I ain't got no choice, brother. I'm gonna keep living. But if she disobeys her father and my orders, and I'm like Job from the Bible. I'm a little rough on the edges. I'm like Job from the Bible. I'm a little rough. You know what I'm saying? I'm preaching from the survival scrolls. But I'm telling you, ain't no saving. You can't get to us no more. It's too much technology. It's too much ignorance out here. And it's too much government subsidies.
But at the end of the day, we still eating from the same food chain. We still breathing the same air. We still in the same location. So So you can't really give up because we ain't that far gone. Man. Let me just tell you that. We ain't that far gone. Because I just keep breaking, I'm going to break it down again. 50 years after slavery, which brought us to like 1915 to about 1965, 1965 to what? 2015. You know, we got
Okay.
another ahead of us. You know,
Okay, let me ask you, Steve. And from 2023 to 1900s, do black people have more ownership or less ownership?
per capita, I would say.
No, we got the capital because we see what we spend our money on. Cadillacs, we got the capital, but we don't got ownership. It's getting worse. The degradation of the black person is getting worse. There is no family structure. There is no and then the church ain't doing us no justice. We go in the church. We going and then we got women preachers. Go to the Bible, Timothy 1. The Bible says it. God does not talk to the woman. It says it in the Bible. We don't have. We're not supposed to have women preachers. We're not supposed to have. It's just not. But we let it go on. Why? Because the black man is inferior to the black woman now. We are inferior to her.
Women preachers, but we can have women that rule countries.
What woman rule the country? Not in America. Not in America.
Indira Gandhi, Bhutto from Pakistan, many of them in England.
Margaret Thatcher.
We're talking about real rulership. Ain't no woman ruling no country. And we talking about, and if you follow the Bible, go to Timothy 1. God does not speak to the woman. She is supposed to sit there and be quiet. It's in the Bible.
Right. And if she have a good idea, she's supposed to give it to her husband to present it in.
Right.
Be sure that's what they said.
I'm positive. Timothy 1.
Yes,
sir.
It says that, but the Bible been tampered with.
Oh, now it's been tampered with. There you go. You know what? If it don't fit your mode of thinking, it's been tampered with. If it don't fit your mode of thinking, it's been tampered with.
It's 300 kinds of King James Bible. 300, over 300. It's been
King James. Any black person following the Bible of a white man named King James, you already lost.
Quite,
you already
King
lost.
James was black.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
He was black.
Steve, you gonna let this man say that?
Right.
Steve, are you gonna let Tiny say King James was a black man?
King James was a black man. Do your research.
Hey,
I tell you what, we have a gentleman who lives in our community that I think knows as much about black people in the Christianity circle and blacks who were in the Bible, who were black, named Reverend Dr. Walter McCray.
That's right.
The East Garfield community. I think we ought to invite him to the show one night and ask him to share with us his notion. Right. And he's written books on it, who the blacks were in the Bible.
Right. And I got one of his books.
And
but I think that's an excellent idea.
And along with him might be a fellow named Reverend Al Sampson. Oh, yes. Who also is a black Bible scholar. I'm saying these people have done a great deal of research, and there's actually a group of black religious groups who basically their whole push on Christianity has been blacks in the Bible. I mean that, and they mostly have doctorate degrees, spend a lot of time
You
studying.
gotta study that.
I don't maintain that just because you have a doctorate degree, but the more you study, the more you like to know. And it does help. So
That's a damn shame. All right, y'all. Go ahead and so we right at the top of the hour. Y'all know how we like to do it, wrapping up, just go around the room and get the final thoughts to everybody. So see you on my screen first, Donnie.
Yeah. Well, I would just like to say, as we were doing all this talking, I remember when I was about 17, 18 years old, the Chicago Sun-Times would have a job classification section. And after the real nice jobs, they would have NNA. Negroes need not apply. And I would like to say it's always great to be around like-minded people and keep up the good work.
Yes,
All right, Tiny. You got any other announcements, Tiny? Events, anything?
Just let me just say that in November, the Peacemakers will go peace campaign, and we'd like for everybody to join our peace campaign. You don't have to join the Peacemakers. You should just help us to get peace. Peace in the home, peace wherever you at.
Yeah. All right.
you know, the
That's it.
rules thing about peace and the gospel singer said it's different.
What's that?
Gospel singer said, sometimes I feel so alone. I couldn't find no peace in the street. I couldn't find no peace at home. But I made it.
Yeah. Sounds good. Barry.
Hey, guys. Mosaic, thanks for all the energy you put in. And thank you all for coming together and dealing with all these problems and potentials ahead of us. And Tiny, really like that peace campaign. And thank you for doing it.
You know what, Tiny? When what's the purpose of this peace campaign?
Okay. To bring peace rather than saying stop the violence, put down the guns, stop the killing. Let's just work for peace.
Mm-hmm.
I asked that because I'm
That's
organizing.
it. Just work for peace.
I'm organizing another peace circle, this time on the 52 and 5300 block of Van Buren, similar to what we just did the past week with Miss Jacobs folks. And we're gonna have the officers out there. So if you and the peacemakers would like to come to be a part of that, you know, that would be dope.
Okay. Okay.
Right.
I accept that.
Yeah, I'll send y'all some information about it. But right now, September 19th at 6 p.m.
Okay, that'd be great.
5300 block of Van Buren, they got an open garden over there. So we're gonna meet up over there. Mosaic?
You know, I just want to say, black people, don't be scared to be different. Don't be scared to go against the herd, because while all the sheep going straight off the cliff, you need to be the one that say, you know what? Take a cliff that way. I'm gonna mosey on back this way. Don't be afraid to turn around and not follow the herd. Trump 2024.
Yes, sir. Wallace? Can't hear you if you're talking.
No. Deontay, Tay. You got anything in closing, Tay?
my phone, you know, tweaking and stuff. No, good conversation as usual, man. Good conversation. You know, I'm always big on, you know, hustling, get y'all money. I just say, African Americans, man, let's just take advantage of the times that we in. Use artificial intelligence. Use these methods of bringing in income. Start small and create a snowball. And you know, older African Americans, just don't be afraid to learn something new.
Right.
Yeah.
Angelica?
Y'all have a good Labor Day. Hey, everybody. Hey, y'all. Hey, Congressman.
That's right. Hey. Thanks. Ella?
Hello. Hi.
Hey.
We had a lot of controversy going on, but I enjoyed the back and forth. So just keep it up, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. All right, thanks. What you got, Congressman?
Well, this has been a tremendous weekend of activity as people get ready for Labor Day. There's a big festival going on out in Washington Park. Thousands of Black people are out there. They've been there today.
African Fest, right?
They'll be out there tomorrow. The African Festival of the Arts, a big expression of Black culture, Black engagement.
Mm-hmm.
There were thousands of people at the football classic yesterday. Most of them were African American. It was a good display of unity, pushing young African Americans to go to school, to get into college if they're not already there, to get ready for college if they're not already prepared. And
Right.
I went and we took about 100 something young people, children, out so they could see Black athletes, Black bands operating, beating the drums, and having fun. So just a fun day. And so was today. Lots of activity. The Lord has blessed me. And I believe I'm gonna last until Wednesday. To have another birthday.
Right. Man. Happy early birthday.
September the 6th is my birthday, and we're going to celebrate it. So I'm going to celebrate it a lot of times in a lot of places with a lot of different people.
Happy early birthday, Congressman.
Thank you. It's a big celebration. Will be
How old you gonna be, Congressman?
6 o'clock at Miller Meadows, out at the Forest Preserve in Oak Park. Everybody is welcome, and it's not as big as the ones we used to have with Garfield Nation. Garfield and I used to do a birthday celebration, joint birthday celebration that we did at Women's Square at the Garden for many years. Well, we're blessed to have another birthday. I'm celebrating next Sunday at Miller Meadows. Everybody's invited. I am going to be 82 years old. And all those people who are envious, because they know a lot of people who didn't live that long. Man, listen, that's a good Lord didn't bless in the same way. Kind of feel sorry for them. But
Congressman, what's the location again? Where you celebrating at Sunday?
Miller Meadows, the First Avenue and Roosevelt Road in Maywood, Illinois. Just a big old forest preserve out there where people go out and experience nature. They don't charge us anything to go. our tax money pays for. And that's where we'll be celebrating next Sunday. I want to thank all of those folks who have wished me a happy birthday for that, well wishes. And we'll go back to Washington on the 12th with the idea of keeping the government open. Republicans are threatening to shut down the government on September 30th. We will run out of money, which means that unless you have authorization to spend money, you can't spend it.
Right.
And so the politicking is going to be fierce for the next year plus, about a year and a half. Because much of the focus is going to be on the 2024 election.
Right.
Democrats are going to be doing everything we can do to try to get people to put Democrats in office.
Right.
Republicans are going to be trying to do everything they can do to try to get people to put President Trump and Trumpeteers back in office. And one thing, no matter what anybody else says, is that each one of us have the responsibility and the opportunity to make our own decision and decide who do we think is going to be best to lead the country. Everything else is irrelevant when the deal goes down. And if you go in there and decide who do you think, not your mama, not your daddy, not the preacher, not the teacher, not the mayor, not the governor, not the hustler, not the dope dealer, not the guy on the corner, but who do you think would be best to lead the country? Thank you very much. Have a wonderful Labor Day. Yes, sir. And hopefully we'll see you next week. Yes, sir.
Right. I got several things. First of all, Chicago Austin Youth, 3rd Annual Gone Again Austin Music Festival will be next weekend, 9/9 to 23rd. It's free music, games, vendors out at the, where is it? I think it's at the town hall. Yeah, Austin Town Hall. That's September 9th this year, and it starts at 10 o'clock to 7 o'clock p.m. 10 o'clock a.m. to 7 o'clock p.m. Also, I want to send our best wishes out to Cora Williams, a long-living Austinite. Yeah, she's doing some recovery from a little health issue, but she's doing a little better. I want to bring that up, and also one other thing, but FEMA. I just want to say we want to thank you, Congressman, for helping get FEMA out here and support of the people in Austin and the West Side, along with President Biden, that actually signed the declaration over to make sure that people got money from FEMA. So again, thank you.
They are getting it too. Some people have already gotten their money, and other people are waiting for their check. And it ended up being more than I think people thought. Plus, there have been some serious disasters in other places in the country. Hawaii, for one, Florida, the East Coast for two. And the president is asking Congress now for some more money to spend on disasters in the country. And for those who don't know, that's how it really works. Yeah. So I have to check it out. That's how it really, after all the whatever, but that's how it really works.
I just want to say, keep Angelica's family and you guys' prayers. Her son is going back and forth to the hospital. Right. And daughter's in Africa, and she's enjoying it, but she's not enjoying it. You know, so just keep them, keep them prayed up righteously. And for me, it's
Thanks,
just
DeAndre.
oh yeah, no worries. I had my first class teaching leadership at the collegiate level, man. I had a good class. I'm definitely looking forward to getting up in there on Thursday, mixing it up with the kids, well, the students, because these ain't kids, these definitely adults. Once again, man, and bringing my expertise, man. So good. That was cool. Which school was that? I'm at the Chicago School of Professional Psychology. Oh yeah, yeah. So yeah, you know, like I say, we do this thing every Sunday from 6 to 8 p.m. We got various ways that you can interact with our show: Facebook, YouTube, Zoom. It's really up to you to choose which one that works best for you. Make sure you share the show. You know, let people know what we're trying to do up here. You know, we gonna have these flashes from time to time, but you know, the conversation matters. Even the congressman said, man, you know, we had a good little debate and it's something that's been raging, and sometimes it just needs to be out in the open. That's all.
We're gonna touch base on that welfare issue.
Yeah.
And the issue regarding the church and religion.
So like I like to say in closing, you know, we have open seats at the table. We just trying to welcome y'all on home. Thank y'all for allowing us to welcome you to Northwest Austin County.
So
have a good night.
Good night, all.
Good night.